Hi guys, welcome back to The Cozy Alchemist. I am your host Ashley and welcome to this space, my home, and I hope you enjoy your time here as we talk about books, graphic novels, mangas, also art, and we just do all kinds of fun things here. So with that being said, today I wanted to kind of share with you the books that I have been reading so far throughout this journey of me getting back into fictional books, what I've liked, what I haven't liked. So this video might be a little bit long. It's a chatty chat video, so for the chat, grab you something to snack on or something to drink, and let's get into some of the books that I have dived into this year, getting back into fiction. Right. So as many of you know, I am a slow reader. I enjoy taking things in. My goal and where I'm at right now is just getting into the habit of making reading a weekly, daily, if possible, thing. So I'm getting my feet wet as an adult reader and getting back to reading in and only for pleasure and not just for academic or self-growth or informational. I have slowly taken my time dipping my foot back into the water, and I have really had a fun overall experience. And as you see, I have read from an array of things, and I'm looking forward to continue to broaden my horizons and see what things I like and what genres are for me, what genres aren't, and just go with the flow. So if you are in the space of learning yourself as an adult reader and dipping your foot into new spaces, new genres, or you're constantly reading but you just want to be adventurous, like, I totally understand it, and you're in the right place because that is where I am. With that being said, let's start with romance. So for the first one that I wanted to talk about with romance was 5 stars for me. I really enjoyed it. It was right up my alley. I really enjoyed The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. It was a cozy, enjoyable read. I really enjoyed our main character, who is Mika. She plays no games. She knows who she is, and she is a witch that lives in the society and space and time where witches do not congregate, they do not get together, they kind of stay to themselves. They meet once every so often, and it's really just to like brush each other up on what's going on with their lives, and then any new spells or any new things that they've learned, and then they all go out to their own space. Well, for her job, really what she does and she gets paid for, she's online and she does like astronomical, like witchy things, and it's kind of perfect because people don't really believe she's a witch. And so she was like, why not pretend to be this person, this persona, but while I'm also honestly doing real magic, and no one's gonna know the wiser. And she loves it. She is very popular, really well known, and one day she gets a inbox about helping raise other witches, but there turns out to be this home where there are 3 little girls that are witches, but they are being raised by humans, and they don't have anyone to show them how to become a witch. They don't know how to teach this and like help the girls embrace themselves completely, so they end up hiring Mika. And one of the very many amazing characters is Jamie. Jamie is the grumpy, like, he is very protective of the girls, doesn't really want anybody else coming into their space, is not really sure that they can trust her and she's trustworthy and that the girls are safe with her. And so he's like this big like Papa Bear figure, and so I really enjoyed this. Like, I am looking for more work done by this author. I'm looking forward to the one that is probably, I think it's out already. There's a second one about an innkeeper. And if you like cozy romances, if you like your romances to be within a story but not the main idea of the story, then this is also something. Like, I loved learning about Mika and the witches and how she's teaching these girls and just all the magic that's involved, and not just focused in on the relationship, the romantic part of it. So this was a good balance between the two. The next one that I really enjoyed was Funny Story. I listened to the audiobook, which was great. I really enjoyed it. And whereas, you know, the secret, very secret society had a little bit of spice, this one definitely, it has a more spice. And I was not sure I was going to enjoy it because it is like mainly focused on like the romance part of it instead of being a story with romance in it. But I love the characters, I love the story, I love learning about the other characters around the couple. I really enjoyed it more than I thought I was. I actually, I'm looking at my notes, actually gave Funny Story 5 stars, and I don't have it in person, but I will have a physical copy for my library because I enjoyed it so much. And it was such a good story. I laughed, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the side characters as well, the other stories, the other connections that these two people had outside of each other, their work lives, the things that they love to do. It really went into that, and so I love getting a full picture of these two humans instead of just like zeroing in on their attention and affection to each other. So it got 5 stars for me. I really enjoyed it. Spice was the right amount, and yeah, I highly suggest, if you have not read any of her other works and you're interested in dipping your toe, I had to highly suggest this be the first one. It worked for me. Next one in the romance, I got Two Can Play. I gave this one 4 stars because it was my first like super like more spicy kind of book. Again, I did see how this was one of them that like superly focused in on the couple, didn't really give you much outside of the viewpoint of these two, other than they were on a retreat together for work. It's forced proximity kind of thing, miscommunication. They weren't really enemies to lovers because it was just miscommunication, misunderstanding one person of the other person. And what I did wish I had more was the aspect of the gaming. Like both of them create games. They're in tech and they are in rival companies, and they both have to work together. The companies have to come together and create this new game based on a story. And the story is really sentimental to the woman we're following because her dad and her used to read it together. They enjoyed it together. That was like their bonding thing. So she has a really sentimental tie to it. And so she really wants to get her hands in on how this video game is created. And so I like that aspect. I wish we could have seen more of the like making the game, creating the game, building the game, them working together as a romantic partner. I don't even know if it was more than 4 hours. So it was light. It was easy to just put on, go cook, go do, you know, errands and stuff. So it was an easy read. It did what it was supposed to do, which was entertain me, a little fun time. So I liked it. Could have been more, wasn't perfect, but again, I knew that going in. I didn't have super high expectations, so I'm not really that disappointed. The next one is Bride. I, you know, wasn't gonna go in for it because I've just heard so many negative things about Bride, and I've heard the positive, but I'm more of the negative, and I was like, no what, I'm just gonna do the audiobook of it. And y'all, I really enjoyed it. Again, not every part of it was for me, but the storyline really intrigued me. I was thinking it was going to be more of, again, just focused on the two people in the romance, but I loved getting into this world where there are vampires, werewolves, and humans, and just the understanding of like the tension between the different species and how they interact with each other, how they don't interact, like all of the political part of it. That was intriguing to me. I really enjoyed that. Our main character's dad, Misery, her dad is trash. Trash. Like horrible. I was supposed to say horrible human being. A vampire. The spicy did what the spicy was supposed to do. It was a good old hee hee tee hee 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 time. You know what I mean? Just enjoy. I'm just there for entertainment, and that's what this was. It was entertainment. So I gave this 3 stars. Now this next one, y'all. This next one was one of those, let me just jump right into the deep end of the spicy spice scene. And I got, let me read you this name, and I did the audio. Jumping the Shark matched with the Space Shark. And you know, here we don't judge. We don't judge about what you like to read, what kind of romances you like, what kind of spice. Like, it's just, and so here we are. And so I was like, let me just jump in the deep end and see what all these girlies are talking about. And I was like, oh, it was there to entertain, and it entertained. I gave it 3 stars because I knew what I was getting into, and in that sense, it got 3 stars. Like, it did was what it was supposed to do. But what was it about? It was about this girl who was on a dating app. So on these dating apps, they allow like extraterrestrial life forms or whatever to present as humans, get on this app, date, and then these people can snatch their humans and take them back to wherever their home planet was. That's what I got. And maybe I may be wrong, but that's what I got. That's what I was getting. I was getting kidnapping and you're coming home with me. Abduction, like 100% vibes. So if that's your thing, go for it. You know? And so we have our main character. She goes on the app, finds somebody, he's amazing. They go on a date. She's like, I'm gonna go caution to the wind. And he was like, cool, you're into this. Like, let me abduct you and take you back to my planet of the sharks. And she has yet to know that he's not human. And so then ensues this, like, she wakes up galaxies away from Earth, like, and she's like, oh, bet, I've been dreaming about this, please snatch me up. And his name was Maxon, I believe. Snatch me up. And he is like this high official for the people, and he's like trying to come out of that and go into retirement. He's banking, he's got money and dough. He said, all you have to do is exist. You want to go shopping, I'll take you shopping. You want to sleep, I'll take you. You can go to sleep. If you want to go swimming in our pool, go swimming in our pool. And she was like, say less, king, say less. And I was like, good for you, girl. Look at you. You got what you want. So 3 stars. I wasn't disappointed. The dialogue was not the best. The spiciness was 10 light years ahead of what I was prepared for. Yes to all those things, but yet not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. So there's that. All right, for the next one, we are getting into, oh, I have something on my nose. We are getting into fantasy, legends and lattes into this one. This one was such a joy to read. Just like this one was a joy to read. It's got that cozy vibe. It's got the, like, you know, the detail, the writing. It just feels like a warm, like, hug. It's like, feels like coming home to your family. It just is really good vibes. Very, very, like, very low stakes. I know some people were like, this was boring, this didn't have anything going on. No, that's the whole point. This is why it's called cozy. And I can get why some people don't do cozy. Like, I can see how this could be perceived as like nothing happened in the book. There are things that happened. It just wasn't fast paced. You know, there were character developments. You just wasn't at the pace and the doings that most people are used to. So it just depends on what you like. I'm a mood reader. There's times where I am in the mood for this, and there's times where I know I can't read this because I would say I wouldn't be able to get through it. But this is like high fantasy. This is about our main character. She is putting down her sword. She's putting down the battlefield. She's leaving all that behind. She's got her money. She finished her last, like, I don't want to say mission, but she like finished the last thing that she was supposed to do with her team, her comrades. She decided to settle down. She's tired. She wants to enjoy life. And so she decided she is going to build and have a place and sell bean water, aka coffee. She's had coffee, it changed her life, and she wants people to have this amazing experience that she's had. And so that's what she decides to do. And so we go on this very chill, like, journey as she is building up, you know, clientele and learning what a coffee shop would need, and like, oh, pastries, well, we need to get somebody who can bake, and like, we need to hire someone, more people are coming in, and just like the descriptions of the coffee and the food. I have never read a book so much in my life that made me hungry. Like, I always was hungry, or I either always wanted to go get a cup of coffee while reading that. If you're a foodie and you like that, and that kind of like is some of your own passion and your love, you would love something like this. And it is also like a little bit of her past coming and kind of like catching up to her. It is found family. It is about like facing your past in some kind of ways, but also letting go of the past at the same time, and being okay with like leaning on people. And so it was a really good read. I enjoyed this. I gave this 5 stars as well. Okay, so the next 2 that I'm going to get into are considered like fiction classics, I guess. And the first one is The Invisible Man. I listened to the audiobook. I don't recommend the audiobook because the audiobook I listen to, so I listen to my audiobooks. I try to get all of them for free. So the apps that I use like the library connection app, so like Libby and Hoopla. And I don't know what it is or what it was with this Invisible Man, but the voice kept changing throughout the story. It was like they read something wrong, and so they had to delete it, and they had to get another voice, and like they dubbed it in. And so you get these different like accents and like volumes of voice, and it would kind of catch you off guard. Other than that, it was fine. it was free, so I'm not going to complain. So I gave The Invisible Man 4 stars because I could not get over how much of a menace this man was. So let me just break this down to you. SpongeBob and Patrick, the episode where they go into that magic store, or like the like joke store, I don't know what it was, and they get the invisible spray and they start spraying each other and laughing about it, but then eventually they get mad with each other and completely cause both of them to be invisible, and they go around the whole Bikini Bottom place and they're pretending like they're ghosts, and they're freaking out everybody because no one can see them. This is like the mature version of that with a human, pretty much. Homie accidentally stumbles upon creating this invisible, like I don't know if it's serum or an injection, I can't remember. He first tests on a cat, then he tests it on himself, but then he's like, oh no, people can't see me and I don't have anything to turn me back. So then he's like, this is amazing though, people are gonna pay for this, people are gonna want to see this. But when he tells people, people freak out, right? They act all crazy, right? And then he's like, I have to find the antidote. That way I have both. If I have both, then that really will put me higher up on the status within the science world and like discovery, and like that's his thing. Like he's hyper focused on like becoming this world renowned household name scientist, like inventor person, right? But then he's like, to do all of that, to do more research, I have to have funds. I can't get funds because no one can see me. I'm invisible and I'll freak people out and somebody else might steal what I'm doing. So since I'm invisible, why don't I just go around stealing people's money and breaking into places? And like, if people piss me off, I'm also gonna, you know, have hands that are rated E for everyone because I can get away with it. When I say menace, this man is a menace. And then the bad part about it is there's no self-awareness. Like he's like, it's everybody else's fault. Like I wouldn't have even been like this if it wasn't for this person not giving me the money the first time I asked for it. So then I was like, I don't need to ask, I'm gonna take it. And it's this person that my fist ran into their face because, I don't know, they just were rude and they wouldn't let me stay in their inn because I didn't have the money. And so I was like, that's your fault. Craziness. When I say menace, I mean menace. That's all I have to say about it. That's all I have to say. You choose if you want to go into that, but no, this man is a menace. couldn't be friends with him. Could not. The next one is another audiobook that I did, but I do want to have a copy of it in my home because it is so endearing, and it's just, I have a special connection to this book and I do not know why. But it is The Great Gatsby. I gave it 5 stars. I know it is not for everyone. I kind of don't really care because it is for me, and that's all that matters. I love this book so much. I love the story so much. I love The Great Gatsby with my homie Leonardo. I love it. I will watch that DVD over and over and over again. But this story, so I hadn't actually read the book since high school, so I was like, let me go back and read it. I've seen the movies, I get it, cool, I love it, I'm here for it, but let me get back to the book. And the book still do what the book do. I love me Jay Gatsby. I love a story about an underdog who does what he has to do because he loves someone. Granted, he's holding on to the past a little bit. Needs to let go. Daisy is not all that. So for you, those of you who did not have to read this in high school or read it and don't remember it and haven't touched it again or at all, we have this man who is not Gatsby. He's not Gatsby, but he moves into this industrial, like, it's city place, and he has a house, a cottage right next to where the Great Gatsby lives. This man is known all over. He has these elaborate parties where famous people, like diplomats, everybody knows and goes there, and he has these parties every weekend, and they kind of are on this lake, and across the lake, the man who's telling us this story is his cousin Daisy and her husband and their richness. Like, they come from old money. So we got old money, new money, and homie just like barely surviving. Like, he's me, I am him. We're just observing and telling the story. And so he don't like Great Gatsby. Great Gatsby, no le caes bien. He's like, I don't know you, you don't know me, we're not cool. Gatsby finds out that they're related, that they're cousins, so he's like, oh, let me befriend him. Let me hang out with him some more. And our homeguy's like, I know what you're doing. If you're trying to get closer to my cousin, I don't get it, because she's tied up. She's spooky for my guy. But he ends up learning a little bit more, and we learn more and more about these characters, this old money, these people. And I feel for him because he literally came from little to nothing, and he did what he could do with, one, his own talents, but two, with opportunities that they presented to him. He became all of this to get the woman that he loves. That's what it boils down to, y'all. A man trying to get his girl, and his girl did not wait for him. She got locked and booed up with some other guy who's trash. But because he's old money, she's like, oh, what should I do? I love what we had, but this money this man has is old money. It's not going nowhere. Trash, all of them. No one deserved Jay. And I don't know why. The story gets to me. It's so sad. The ending is so sad. So if you want to like shed a thug tear, if you want to get in your feelings of like unrequited love, or love that missed its timing, or like the struggle of a man trying to get to this status so he could get his woman, but the timing was just off, this is the story for you. It's the story for you, my friend, because it always will be the story for me, period. All right, now we are going to get into the sci-fi. Sci-fi is my thing. I love sci-fi movies. I love sci-fi everything. I love sci-fi. And so I was like, let me get into sci-fi. I read 3 very different sci-fi books within the sci-fi genre, and all of them I enjoyed for different reasons. And so first I'm going to start with Ancillary Justice. I gave Ancillary Justice 4.25. This was actually the first sci-fi book I touched since coming back into fiction. And I knew this was about AI. I knew this was about revenge. I knew the story followed. The main character had different like bodies, ancillary bodies that connected and spoke to each other, but now when we open this book and start the story, there's only one, and we're trying to figure out, one, what happened to the other bodies of this ancillary body. This Justice is the name, and like why this now AI being is trying to seek revenge. And this is considered a space opera. I didn't know what a space opera was. I had no idea. I just knew this was a space opera. I didn't dislike it. It was really good. I did have to get the audiobook because my ADHD was ADHDing, and I could not keep up with the places, the people, the cultures, the years, like all of the things. It just, there's a lot of history elements into this and wars and stuff. And so I was like, I cannot read through all of this. I feel like I'm reading a history book and I'm going to DNF it. So I got the audiobook and that helped. But it was really good. It was really captivating. It was really interesting watching and seeing the development of like human characteristics like within this AI, and just the people and the cultures and the culture norms, not norms, of these different species. But it was really good. I did enjoy it. It just was thick with the history, and I have to be careful with like too much political or too much history, because then it feels overwhelming to me if I don't have an audiobook to help me kind of chip away a little bit faster and easier at that information. So I'm learning that about myself, but I did enjoy this. This was a good one. Am I going to continue the series? Absolutely not. I know myself, I know where to stop, and I'm okay with that. But I love the ride that this took me on. So where this threw me off, this is where I found myself. I was like, yes. So this is Hail Mary. This got a 4.5 from me. I enjoyed this so much, and I want to get more. I want to get the Martian. I think I've seen the movie and just didn't know what I was watching. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I really do want to get the book. I can't wait until this movie comes out. I'm so excited for it. But this was beautiful. This story of Ryland Grace and following this man who just was a teacher, science teacher, very brilliant, but like loved what he did. Wake up on a spacecraft, light years, galaxies away from Earth. And then the two other humans were there that should have been there and alive weren't. He don't remember his name. He don't remember what he's supposed to be doing there. And we are on the journey with Rai. We are there with you, homie. We're confused too. I love the setup of this book. I love the science talk. Like, talk nerdy to me all day. Like, I am here for it. It made me as a reader feel smart. Girl, I was a C student in science for a reason. As much as I was curious and I loved it and I love science, like, just wasn't my subjects in school with them tests and them quizzes. But this, you could have told me nothing. I am as smart as they are. Everybody in this book, I understood everything they said. It made sense. It's obviously true. I think that's a talent, to be able to make the reader feel like they are scientists along with the characters and that they know what they are talking about, and that is not hard to digest or understand. And so this was a great ride. This was a great story. I felt what he felt. I was confused when he was confused. Like the twists on it, the turns on it were just done very nicely. I loved this book. Like, I will forever rant and rave about it. It probably should be a 5-star for me. I'm not really sure why I have 4.5, but that's what I gave to it then. Because every time I bring up this book, I'm like, this was phenomenal. Like, I don't know that I'll ever have another experience like Project Hail Mary. That sounds like a 5-star to me. And then for this next sci-fi, it is sci-fi slash like apocalyptic, like setting, and that is our girl Octavia. She wrote Parable of the Sower. I enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed this story so much. It got 5 stars for me. I cannot wait to get my hand on the Parable of the Talent and any of her other work. I'm itching to just have her whole, like, just all her writing, because this is one of those, I guess some people would consider, I don't know, it's one of those like apocalyptic sci-fi stories that aren't too far from reality in some instances. And I know I was reading the comments and the thoughts of other readers where they were like, there were some things that they really didn't like in here or didn't really agree with. So first of all, what is it about? It is about this is happening in like it's 2020s in California. There's like climate change, economic crisis that lead to social chaos. And so this causes like California to become dangerous, right? We have water shortages, we have like massive like homeless, and people are just like fighting for their lives. And there are these communities that are like have fences or protection around them because they do happen to either have homes, they have electricity, they're able to pay for that kind of stuff, haven't had any intruders, theft, killings, and all these things. There's not very many of those communities out there, but there are those communities where people still are able to earn a living and like have the community to protect each other and there's things. And so we follow the 15-year-old girl, Lauren, still blows my mind, who has grown up in this. This is her life. She doesn't know the life before that, the good times that her parents talk about, the safe times that her parents talk about. And so it's Lauren, her dad, her stepmom, and then her step siblings, and then the neighborhood they live in, those families, their kids, and then like the world outside is just chaos, unsafe. You've got packs of dogs, you've got packs of humans, you've got people just murder, killing. Read the trigger warnings because there's stuff that goes on in here because like it's just a dangerous world. We follow her and this is her diary. This is read like you're reading her diary after the events have taken place. And I love that for us. I love how we're getting, and it's so detailed. You feel like you're there. You feel like you're watching a movie, and it feels realistic because some of this stuff is happening. Some of this stuff has happened. Some of this stuff is and could possibly get to this point. I think that's the creepy and scary part of it. And if people read this and are like, I don't see what's connected, then I kind of feel like your head's in some way stuck in the sand, or you're in a space, you exist in a space where your privilege doesn't allow you to see that, which is it's fine, it happens, but for the majority of us, we can see how this can feel very eerie because there are things happening in this book that is happening now, that has happened, and this book was written a long time ago, which makes it even crazier. So we follow Lauren. She's smart, she's brilliant, she, is one of the few who read, and so she helps her stepmom teach other kids how to read in the neighborhood. The dads sometimes get together and take the kids 15 and up to go like practice using weapons and cleaning guns and like knowing how to protect each other because they have to know these things. This is part of life. Her dad is a preacher, but she very much has decided that she doesn't necessarily believe in the God he believes in. So there's a religious aspect, and she believes and starts writing in this diary, and she starts calling things like earth seed. And so this earth seed, this title, this word is like her belief system of change, that God is change and that change is God, and like what she believes in that. And we get to see that kind of develop through these pages as she's experiencing life, as the safety of her family, herself, her life is put on the line, and she's in these dangerous situations. But I love Lauren. She is cunning, she is smart, she sees things and she calls things out. As a 15-year-old, I found that some readers were like, this isn't a realistic behavior of a 15-year-old. Yes, it is. If you put somebody in an environment where they have to be grown and they have to grow up really fast, yeah. If you put people and you're raised in a space where they have to be on guard 24/7 and they're living to survive and they're trying to just survive, kids mature very fast. I think it's very interesting how sometimes when we as readers, like our own experiences sometimes block us from like connecting and really seeing the stories. It can really be a block if you're not open to it and you can't put yourself in like other life experiences, because I was like, there's nothing odd about her behavior as a 15-year-old in this circumstance, because we see it all the time in real life circumstances where kids have to grow up fast. So anyways, that was just my thought, but I love this. 5 stars. It's just so good, and I cannot wait to get more of her work. So the next one we're getting into is horror/thriller, and I am not a scary person. I'm a scaredy cat, but I'm not typically interested in anything that's gonna make me stay up at night or like always have me looking around the corner. I don't want to live like that, y'all. I don't, but I know I'm a scary cat and I know what I can handle. Psychological thrillers, I super enjoy. I love that. I'm not a huge, you know, someone's chasing me kind of fan. No. Murder mysteries, I love. But again, those are murder mysteries. They don't typically fall under horror and thriller. But I said, let me dip my toe into this space, and I got this one called Monday's Not Coming. This is by another Black author that I need to just continue to just consume her art, her words, her writing. Tiffany. Between Tiffany and Octavia, I'm gonna live a good life. I'm gonna live a good reading life. Monday's Not Coming, we're following a friend. I think it's Claudia. We are following Claudia. She is the friend of Monday. They've grown up together, love each other very much. They are like this, tied to hip, like. And during the summers, Claudia typically goes to grandma's. They write letters to each other, and then, you know, she comes back, school starts, Claudia and Monday start school together, etc., etc. So this happens. She goes away, she comes back, didn't get any letters, thought it was really weird, tries to call her friend, tries to, like, you know, maybe she'll be at school, doesn't come. She starts asking questions. Where is Monday? That is the whole premise of this story. Where the hell is Monday? Where is my friend? I cannot find her. And so we pretty much follow this teenager who, one, for selfish reasons, she's trying to find her friend because she does not know how to exist without Monday. Monday takes and watches and cares for lots of parts of Claudia. We also see our friend Claudia, who is like not understanding if she did something wrong, if Monday just like really up and left her, and like, am I a bad friend, and did I do something, and like that, like, oh my gosh, did I lose my friend, like where is she, like did we argue, maybe she didn't like me anymore, the typical like teen behavior of on and off friendships. She's trying to figure this out while also just being a teen, while also dealing with parents and school and self-esteem, and like she's struggling in school, and next is after, you know, this, she's got to plan what's next for her, and just so many things, poor baby, is going on, and none of these adults are listening. None of them. This book will frustrate you to the tippy top of what you can withstand. I tell you that, and it's not a bad frustration. It's because Tiffany gets you so enthralled and so in the shoes of Claudia that you are like, you are Claudia. This is your story. You are looking for your best friend and you cannot find her, and none of these damn adults are doing anything. They're not listening. They're not listening. And so you feel like you are her, and that's what got me the 5 stars. Like, make me feel like I am the character in the story, please. It is so good, and that is all that needs to be said. I did see a couple comments of people not enjoying this because there are chapters that aren't chapters. I mean, they're titled like today, the day after the day after the event, before the event. And a lot of people were like, I was so confused of like where we were, if we were past or present, or like what's going on. And I could see as you're reading, that's legit. I thought the same thing, like, wait. What part, where are we in this story? Are we like 2 days behind, or is this a day after, or like is this a year before this all happened? But Tiffany not dumb. Tiffany did that so you feel like Claudia, and if you get to the end of the book, you understand why, because we are Claudia. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm not giving away anything else away, but you have to read this book. It is so good. It's so sad. Just prepare for your heart to be shattered into a million pieces. But it's so worth the read. It's so worth the read. Let me look at the name. I Was a Teenage Slasher, and I give this one 4 stars. I did the audio. The audio is phenomenal. If you have the book, great. If you can get the audio, get the audio. We follow Holly Driver, a teenager, high schooler, and his best friend. I believe her name is Amber. I can't remember, y'all. Sorry. But we follow Holly. Awkward high school guy. Not really popular. They live in Texas. I'm telling you, get that audiobook, because the audiobook was so spot on with the Texan accent, and like the person who wrote this, the author, had to have either lived in Texas or talked to somebody or just did really good research, because the things they talked about was like, you will only get this if you live in Texas. Like if you live in California, you're gonna be like, y'all did what? That's a thing? Are y'all for real? The only thing that was missing was a reference to Buc-ee's. But even then, like, it was just so good. The audiobook, the voice, the person reading just did phenomenal. And so we're in Texas, and it is literally this story of this young high school guy and how he is narrating all of this, how he becomes a slasher. Now, I don't like slasher films. Not my ministry, not my calling. No. I've been forced to watch a few, and I've regretted it every single one of them. But I like the premise of this like, you're getting the inside scoop. You're seeing from the mind of the slasher. I like that. I gobbled this up. When I say I had this on all the time, like all day listening to it, it was just really good. There are some lulls in the story where you're kind of like, when are we getting to the point where you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, because that's what this book is about. But it makes sense after reading it and letting myself sit with it. The lead and the build-up is because you're getting to know Tolly as Tolly. You're not getting to know Tolly as the slasher. You need to know who Tolly is, why life is the way it is, why things kind of panned out the way they panned out. Even in the slasher magic sense of this world where these things happen. I myself am a fantasy girly, so I get like fairy lore, I get mermaid lore, I get vampires and werewolf lore. I get that. I've never heard of slasher lore, and this is what this book is. It's literally just slasher lore, and Tolly's learning about it through his own experience of what he can and cannot do, and why slashers can get away with things, and like the person who's trying to escape the slasher can't. I love that. I love that thought process and that aspect and that viewpoint of it. So if that's something that interests you, I highly recommend this book. It was fun. It was just a new perspective, and so yeah, this got 4 stars for me. All right, so I got one book that is considered historical fiction, and I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it. It is Weyward, and I gave this 4.5. It's one of the few books where I'm like, I don't know if it should be a 4.5. I would probably change it to a 4. I think I give it a 4.5 because of the like witch aspect of it. But the more I sat with it, the more I was frustrated with the ending. And I just was like, y'all witches, y'all could have done, there could have been more that came out of that aspect of it. And I think I went in with my own expectations of what was going to be happening, and that kind of messed up like my mental thinking as I was reading it. So I would check the trigger warnings on this because there's just a lot going on, but pretty much we follow 3 women from 3 different times, and they're all connected in some way, shape, or form. They are or have like some kind of abilities that would be considered like witchy or witchcraft. There's not like a magical really element in that, so that's not what this is. So we follow these three women, different timelines, different perspectives. We learn their lives, what's going on, the injustices that is taking place with these women is what gets me, makes me so furious. And I think that's the part where I was like, y'all have certain abilities, y'all need to wipe out these people out, just take them out. Like, I feel like the way that justice was served wasn't really the justice I wanted served. But again, I went into this like, yo, these hands should be rated E for everyone. Everyone can catch this. I needed to dial it back a bit. That was not what the author was intending it for. And so this writing, I enjoyed the writing. The writing was really good. I did also listen to the audiobook, and there are three different women who read the parts of the three different women in the book. So that was also dope. Loved it. Loved the writing. Would like to see and like get more work by her and read it, because again, the writing was gorgeous. I was just ready to fight people at the end, and what did happen, I was like, that's not enough, girl. Get like, come on. Like, I was hyping them up to like really do some damage, and so that was me. That was my bad. This is not the direction of the book. But yeah, so I enjoyed it. I don't dislike historical fiction, but I think it just depends on like what the center storyline is about. I don't think I'm interested in some of the other historical fiction that I see floating around. But again, I could be wrong. I'm always willing to try something once and maybe twice and then see how I feel about it. This wasn't that bad. I really enjoyed the writing. So go check out this if you have not, if you are interested in historical fiction, if you like three storylines and trying to figure out how they're connected, and also like a little bit of like nod to magic, but not necessarily, it's not said to be magic. It's not like the pippity puppity boo, like it's not that kind of magic, but it is like nature connected, being able to wield energy, if that makes sense. If you know, you know. So yeah, that's what this is about. Alright guys, we are to the last two books. If you hung in here, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Please leave a comment below and let me know like what books you've read, maybe what books you suggest based on some of the things that I'm saying, because my TBR is always open for suggestions. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe. That helps my channel out so much and I appreciate it. So let's get into some young adult fiction that I got my hands on. The first one is A Tempest of Tea. If you are a person that likes vampires, if you are like a person that loves like a ragtag team trying to break into somewhere they know they're not supposed to be, with also dabbles of maybe a possible love interest, really good side characters, and tea. That's something that interests you, you should check out A Tempest of Tea. We follow our girl Arthi. She runs a prestigious tea room that at night turns into an illegal blood house and caters to vampires. Absolutely love it. She and her partner who run it, her friend, her brother, they are hilarious. I love Arthi. She does not put up with anyone. She's had a hard life, so it makes sense. She trusts nobody but the people closest to her. It's kind of giving me Peaky Blinders. If you've seen Peaky Blinders and you love that atmosphere and you love that like we don't take no shit, like you either with us or you against us, and if you were against us, you're not making it out this door. That's what this is giving, literally, but in a version of like sis and her homeboy. That's what this is about. And so there is again a part where they have to protect themselves, protect what they've built, and they have to pretty much get involved in like political things. Wasn't sure I was gonna like that because I'm like political stuff, but again, interesting, kept me intrigued, enjoyed it. There are different points of view, so if you don't like multiple POVs, not sure that this is gonna be for you, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, I thought it was fun. The twist at the end, I gasped, y'all, because I was not prepared. I didn't see it coming, and typically I do see some of the twists coming, but I didn't see it in this one. it just went right over my head, and I guess I just missed it, and which is good because I was surprised. Your girl was like, and I loved it, and it was good. It seemed to end like this is going to be another book. I didn't know there was another book. Maybe it's not out yet, but it sounds like there's a ... to this, so I'm interested. I'm interested to see, because the ending cannot end the way it ended. Like, no. This got a 3.5 for me. It got a 3.5, and it was a good time. So you should definitely check it out if that is something that interests you. And this last one is kind of like a soft DNF. So I didn't even finish this one. I gave it a star rating in my Fable account because I was like, I don't know if I even want to come back to it because I was so mad in the moment. So this is from a trilogy, and I loved the first two. Like, the first one I did the audio, the second one I got the book and I read, and then this one I got the actual book, and I just was like, what's going on? This could be a me thing. That's why I say it's a soft DNF. It could be a me thing because I waited too long between book 2 and 3, and I got lost in the sauce. That happens. My memory is not all wonderful and great. But I also I just didn't like with some of the characters. Like, there's some character shifts that I just was like, I don't get it. I'm not connecting. The connection I had in 1 and 2 is like not here in 3. What happened? And that is this one, Children of Anguish and Anarchy. Y'all, I didn't want it to be like this. Again, this is a soft DNF, so I think what I'm going to do is one day when I am ready, I think I'm going to read all 3 of them together. This also is kind of, might be a testament to me and my reading, that I cannot go too long without having the next book and then getting the next book. I might have to be a person that's like, I need all the books out before I read it. So if you don't know, this is a trilogy, and the first one is Children of Blood and Bone. The second one is Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I love it. This is an Orisha series, so it's a loose interpretation of the Ifa faith. And the thing that got me into this is that, like, I really loved hearing and seeing the Orishas in a book. I absolutely love that. Like, representation, dope. Dope. Amazing, right? I love that. I love that the main character we're following, her mama is my mama. Oh yeah. I love that. That is dope. The thing is that I just, this third book wasn't given what I wanted it to give. It wasn't given it. And I did read pretty far. Like, I think I only had like page 191. So I was more than halfway through, way more than halfway through. And I was just like, but the storyline is great. Again, book 1 and book 2, phenomenal. If you like action, if you like the coming of someone who was taken, whose powers and whose ancestors and everything were seen as different and kind of like on the outskirts of society, and them getting that power back, them fighting, them finding their place, their voice, their power, the magic system. Beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful seeing they represented different Orishas, therefore had powers that connected to the different Orishas. Freaking loved it. I loved it. I love to see Ifa spirituality, African spirituality, like done like in books, as long as it's done right and respectfully. And so I really love this. But I don't know, I have to come back to this, y'all. So yeah. So those are the books that I have gotten to sink my teeth into on this journey, and I think I'm finding I like a little bit of everything. I am a mood reader. I'm still a slow reader, but I also I have my days where I want to audiobook it, and there's days where I just want to sit with the book and just let it read to me. I have given myself permission to not read all the popular books and not try to read them as fast and not try to make this page the page that is like, oh, I read all the new releases, here are my thoughts, because that's not realistic for me and where I am in my own relationship with books and reading, and that's perfectly fine. There are other amazing YouTubers that have that space and hold that space for people who are wanting that. And so this is just a journey. Y'all are just following me on this journey. I hope that this encourages you as well to just be true and authentic to where you are in your journey and your connection to reading and literature and digesting literature in a way that is true and authentic to you. So, with that being said, thank you so much for being in this long chat with me. I hope you enjoyed it very, very much. Again, please make sure you subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment. Maybe just a hi, hello, a heart emoji, a sparkle emoji, a werewolf emoji, whatever suits your fancy, so you know that you guys were here. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.